I lost 3 terabytes of data trying to keep a driver working. It compiled, it loaded, there were no errors, which should have been a good sign. And still, it corrupted everything. That was the moment I stopped trusting Linux. So right now, I'm trying to migrate my last system away from it. So this video is me trying to figure out what's actually going on before I lose any more data. All right. So it's waiting. It is waiting. Let's see. Let's see if this thing works or not. Okay, finally. Actually, I moved the DTV now. So setting the board name like that. And doing this. Okay. Doing something that is not there. Okay, let me see. Yeah. Nope. 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 We need to load it. Not sure why. Yeah. Okay, board. The board is still changed though. The name of the board is still changed. And is meant to be. And then we see that. So I guess the name of the board is going to be that. Doesn't have equals. No, of course it doesn't. Okay. I would say this probably looks legit. Well, if it doesn't work, we'll know. Oh, because we have the 4th NVMe now. I don't want to corrupt this thing even further, so we need to disable soft, right? Let's hope for the best. Usually it boots, but it becomes the interface is unusable. So let's see how that goes. Okay, one thing is for sure, right? It's you notice already. So PCI 1 and NVMe 0 is this on PB0. PB0 is on PSC0, which is on the WPCI 0, which was not used before, right? So it shows up as the first NVMe, which to me has always been a bit suspicious, because on Linux, this is the last NVMe. Has a delay and everything. So I don't know how this thing is going to play out, but my idea is that by doing the window part, incrementing the window, maybe that was one of the problems. I don't know, because it's clearly able to read the size, right? It's on SDBuzz 0, that's the size, right? So they are all here. SD5. Okay, we need to do that because software write is disabled. Well, at least it didn't hang with software disabled, which I had a lot of cases before. So not all bad. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, it would be bonkers if this worked. 2 weeks of work just because of a property. Now that is ridiculous. Okay, moment's truth. Nope. It hanged. Yikes. SD1. Equally hanged. Okay, I was testing for something and I noticed that I forgot a property there. So let's see if we have any changes. Now, lineup wise, I'm not expecting it. Lineup wise, I'm not expecting any changes on that front, right? So that I'm not expecting any change, but what I'm expecting is for the nvme one to be do a cold restart on this. That is going to be that's going to be the same. This is going to be 1. Okay, so let's see. NVMe 2. Socket 2 on NVMe. That is okay. Okay, so this is on NVMe. This is now on NVMe 2. Huh. Okay. The order changes. Socket 2 is the 9134, which is now on NVMe 3. It was on NVMe. Oh, okay, +1. Now it makes sense. Okay. This one is on NVMe. Okay. And this one here is NVMe. So everyone falls one after, which is odd. Really odd. Especially because this is using, okay, because it was in PCI 5. PCI 5 is in PB2. PB2 is in PCI 4. PCI 4 is this. Great. Wheel tag is on PB3, which is PB1. Okay. 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 Cool. So now the moment's truth. Actually, I'm afraid of breaking this thing again, so let's connect to this, because at least here I can just skip the process, and this, maybe, I don't know. Let's start with one, oh, it's working. Come on. Oh, first three are working. 1, 2, and 3 are working. Oh, this is good. Good, good. Oh, tell me that 0 is working as well. Okay, of course it's not. Yep. Okay, so let's recap. We got this there, and it started working. So, it might not be the window. Number lines 1, max speed 3. So, it might not be this. It's the damn delay. I'm pretty sure of it. Okay, so we're going to see a few things regarding the instrumentation I did to try to understand what was going on. In here, I'm just playing with one of the files. It's the nvme.c. It's part of the elements that keeps that interacts with the disk. And I'm searching for. I'm looking for a particular case in question. We'll see more about that. So there's a number of operations that do succeed, and that you can see from the other parts of the video. You can see that we can read the size of all the drives, but after it boots, it goes between 3 and 4 drives, 3 and 2 drives working. So the first NVMe and the fourth NVMe, and you know, when I say this, I mean the NVMe's on socket 1 and socket 4. The ones in the middle tend to work. They tend to they tend to interfere with each other somehow, and there's a particular event that it's never pulled off. So and the system is basically left hanging in a state because the interrupt never arrives, and the task that was submitted to the queue never calls the NVMe SCSI IO done, which is the API that I'm trying, which is basically around the location where I'm trying to instrument to get this thing to work. So I'm just changing, made a few changes here locally and then uploading it. It's a very crude way of managing this. Don't try this at home. I broke this kernel so many times already. So just make build a kernel here and try to build it. This is extremely crude, and I'm only doing this because I'm very unfamiliar with kernel debugging, especially in OpenBSD. So the kernel is going to compile for a while, and it takes a while. It takes a while to compile, and eventually it finishes. When it does, we need to reboot the device, and that's what we're going to see in a few seconds. The other option would be to boot with the debugging on, so it means it would fall into the debugger as soon as possible. But I'm not familiar with the code, and I'm not familiar with the debugger that OpenBSD is using yet. And to be fair, I barely know what I'm looking for at this point. I noticed that this particular event never fires off, and so it's basically what I'm going on that tangent. Now, I also noticed that the vendor has a delay, and that I mentioned that early on in the video. And I tried to recreate this on the OpenBSD source in a particular location that I thought would be similar, but unsuccessfully. So what you're seeing me now on the video is we don't have a U-boot with the correct DTB, right? So we need to adjust things. We need to tell it where it is. We need to tell which address is going to be stored, and we need to load it. So that's exactly what you're seeing me do right now. Once you do that, you'll be able to tell the boot EFI to use the address of the kernel and the DTB, and that way it is going to pass that information on to the OpenBSD kernel. Once we do, we're going to do a boot C in this case, and do a disable soft write, because that is exactly the operation that puts the system into a hang. My suspicion is that something happens after, or either something never is pulled off the queue after reading the size of the disk, or there's some control line misalignment. I don't know. I really don't know. So that's what I'm trying to explore here and trying to figure out. So that is essentially the result of the instrumentation there that we have. I'm going to basically copy that over. And I have another case on another screen that it's not recorded, where I have the process, the default list that is supposed to, the events is supposed to fire off, and make a comparison with it, and eventually notice that which API is the one that it never shows. So that's going to see here in a minute. So the result that you see there is basically the opcodes that are being sent, the data size that is being sent, and the flags that are being used. And there's one particular call that it never fires off, which is the SCSI IO, nvme SCSI IO done, if I'm not mistaken. So memory doesn't fail me. I think it's nvme SCSI, because this is at the nvme.c. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to scroll up. You're going to see that API, that function being in a second, right about there. Okay, so that's the part that never gets called. Okay, that means the only read operations that we can do is at boot only to get the size. After that, we can't get the geometry of the NVMe. You can't get anything after that. Is basically, it leaves the system into a hanged state, and the bus gets corrupted shortly after that, after a while. So there's definitely something going on, and I'm trying to figure that one out. So I'll keep you posted. See you next time.